And some heat thrown right away from Harley. Harley going to the body right away, looking to go low with the body, high with the hook. Julio evasive with his head movement so far. Blue gloves for Harley, red gloves for Julio. Right now we got a southpaw versus orthodox matchup going. A couple of big punches find their mark from Julio. Tactically, what are some of the opportunities that present themselves when we have an open stance matchup, Steven?
Man, you know, with the way these guys are being, they're allowing themselves to get a little bit square. So if these guys could get their hands moving, they could really land 3 or 4 shots at a time instead of a little bit of this one punching that's happening right now.
Harley's trying to find a home with that overhand a lot so far.
Man, he's got some great bursting power on his way in. I feel he leaves too early. They're both definitely being careful right now. There's a lot of missed shots.
They're both throwing a lot of intensity behind some missed shots, too.
It is, and it's exhausting to miss a punch. It is so much more exhausting to miss a punch than it is to land a punch. To get your arm back in the momentum and stop it and bring it back to your face is exhausting when you miss.
If you're Julio, is it maybe a little bit more difficult to prepare for a true southpaw like Harley?
You know, I think a lot of that just depends on the work, right? I mean, we have a squad at our gym, and if we're fighting a southpaw, you know, then you start practicing with some southpaws, right? Like, there's always things you can do. The fight game's not new, right? We've been doing this for years. There's definitely ways you can train and be prepared. It's not always easy, but it can be done.
Absolutely. I think, though, that so far Julio's done a good job of maintaining the outside foot. A lot of cat and mouse in that first.
Yes. There was a lot of running around and moving, feeling each other out. Neither athlete looks truly exhausted or tired. They both seem pretty well conditioned. He's breathing a little heavier on the stool over here.
Yeah, I mean, again, as you mentioned, a lot of swings and misses from each of these guys, so it's understandable where we're seeing a little bit of signs of fatigue from each of them. But it does look like after about 20 seconds in the corner, he slowed his breathing down and he's back and recovered. Harley looks completely there and sentient in the corner listening to his instruction as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in Julio's corner right now, right, with the misses he had, he does look a little bit more tired. What does coach tell him to change things going forward?
I think if you're Julio, you just have to keep on trying to work and maintain that outside angle. See, Harley's missing when he is able to keep himself outside.
Yes.
It's when Harley is able to keep his right foot on the outside where he's finding success. Three-two from Lanzas. That 2 to the top of the head has found its spot a couple of times when Lanzas is looking to roll step. Draw 2 from Harley just misses.
Harley looks like he's getting a little bit of a welt under his right eye.
There's some sort of tell that Harley had. I can't pick it up myself yet, but there's some sort of tell that Harley has with his cross because it's getting slipped every time, except for that one as soon as I start to say it. Starting to get a little bit more gritty and more of a dogfight. Both guys are getting a little more tired, landing a little bit more of these shots in the process. Harley has Julio backed up against the ropes. Lots of head movement from Julio. I like that Harley's maintaining the center and just keeping his opponent backed up against the ropes.
Oh, he's doing a great job.
Julio circles himself out, but sometimes in a tight fight like that, the optics alone of who is walking forward can do you favors on the judges' scorecards. At the end of the day, when it goes to the cards, fighting is pageantry. It's who sells that story better to the three people sitting cage side or ringside.
Agreed. I think what a lot of people don't realize too, like depending on what judge you are and where you're sitting, the fight does look different. It can be very hard to judge when you're in different seats, seeing it differently.
Sometimes it could be line of sight. Sometimes it could be the obstruction of a referee. There's lots of things that could factor in the process.
Well, I think a lot of times, especially in boxing, it's easy from our angle, we can see that punch landing, but from the judge's angle on the other side, he's unable to see that and see the damage that's going with it.
And we also, being 100% real with it, we have the benefit of monitors right in front of us too, whereas a judge is not going to have that advantage in the process.
No.
If there is the referee standing with a wide caboose right in front of them, well, they're getting a good look at his inseam.
Yes.
That's about all they can see for that exchange. And you're having to kind of go off of, all right, well, is there a slight delay of a monitor in a building that allows for it? Is there any sort of way that you are doing an evaluation besides a crowd pop? Because that could be misleading as well.
Very true.
Especially you're talking a fighter, hey, they have a strong home crowd. They may not land. They may just have a slight bit of movement in that direction, and their crowd is going to go crazy for them. That may give a misleading picture of what just happened to a judge who cannot see.
Very true. Very true.
We've got a mouse developing underneath the eye of Harley Laws in the process.
It's under that right eye, and it's gotten significantly bigger in between rounds there. Good body work, though.
Man, though, if that left hook lands from Harley, that's problems. He is throwing so much heat on that. He's got a guillotine. Right hook lands right away. Lead right hook. Julio has a hard head because he's eaten a couple of stiff shots and he just stands in the pocket and takes it.
Oh, great punches.
A few hooks land from Julio. Harley supporters looking to give him a shot of adrenaline. Harley's corner asking for him to go to the body. Right hook from Julio finds its mark. Couple of hooks from Harley. Some blood drawn from the nose now of Julio Lanzas. That left hand is vicious from Harley. I would just like to see him set it up a little bit more.
Agreed. They're both throwing down. I got to say, I'm impressed with the activity, especially this late in the match.
Starting to see some fatigue setting in for Julio. Uppercut from Harley just misses. Left hand lands there. That's what I would like to see right now, especially now as Julio starting to show more signs of fatigue. Keep pawing the jab. Make his hands have to honor that, and then you open up your two. And let's not fall in love with headhunting right now. Julio starting to rally a little bit himself. Both fighters are wearing the damage on their faces at this stage of the fight. This kid has tremendous head movement, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, I got to say, even with the amount of hits they're taking, the amount of punches they've thrown, both these guys are still up and at it. Very impressive cardio. You can see as we're getting later in the card, the matches, the fights are getting better. The athletes are more conditioned.
Absolutely. And as we head into this fourth round here, I mean, this could be anybody's fight right now, really and truly. I would not want to be a judge for this one. I think that there's a slight lean potentially to Harley so far.
I would agree.
Again, it's all a matter of the subjective interpretation of those three judges sitting ringside.
Absolutely. But I would agree, Harley. Although he does appear to be the more weathered fighter. He has a little bit more damage. If we look in Julio's corner, definitely some scrapes, but Harley's a little more damaged, man. Definitely bleeding a bit. He's got that little mouse under his right eye.
And that's where some of the question is going to come into the equation of, are you factoring damage versus volume?
Right, it's true.
Volume favors Harley, damage favors Julio.
I would agree. I don't know if it's enough to overcome Harley's volume. He seems to have been in control of the majority of the match.
And some of those optics again, right, of Harley's been the guy who's been walking forward more often, right? But a big counter like that. Julio looking to push the pace this fourth round. Harley throwing a lot of volume too. Both guys throwing massive shots. Be on the lookout for some counters that could land. Sometimes when you're throwing high heat and everything but the kitchen sink into these strikes, you do overextend a little bit, and you might leave yourself open for a very big counter shot.
Wow, they're digging.
Big shots coming in from Harley. Return from Julio. Swing and a miss from Harley, met with a counter from Julio. down to the final bell, both of these guys are just biting down and giving the fans absolutely all that they could bargain for with that price of admission. In this fight right now, ladies and gentlemen, this is like Al Pacino's halftime speech in any given Sunday. Who is willing to fight, scratch, and die for that inch? This is a true fight of inches right now.
Yeah, this is exciting. These guys are just brawling right now. They're leaving it all on the line.
It's a technical brawl in its highest of sense, and I mean that in no disrespect.
Yeah.
Lots of head movement, technical combinations, but this is a slobber knocker.
Wow. A lot of contact.
This is one of these gritty wars where both of these guys are leaving some of themselves in here tonight at the Eclipse Event Center, and it is all for the name of our entertainment here. Short time in the final round here. Big rally from both of these guys. Met in the clinch. Do we see a big bomb? Final bell rings. Wow. Wow.
What a round. What a round.
What a fight, ladies and
That
gentlemen.
was very enjoyable.
Hey, right away, you could pencil that one in for a favorite thus far for fight of the night.
I would agree. That was an awesome matchup. That was fun. Very technical, and yet they were still brawling and hitting each other. That was an excellent match to watch.
I mean, that was 12 minutes of nonstop action.
Agreed. Right from the final bell, they came out hungry. It's cool to see that, especially at this regional level.
We're getting that tally of these judges sitting here ringside. We'll see what they come up with there. Now, again, this is one of those that I say it time after time on the broadcast. I love being the dancing monkey over here with the headset on and talking into a microphone and not having to have the heat on me of deciding who a winner is.
Yeah.
Granted, I feel like there's a lean for sure, but there's certainly factors that have to be considered.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think there was just enough control. There was enough activity. I think Harley does pull it, although I think it was a great matchup. I do think Harley just had enough ahead of him.
I would have to lean in that favor as well, but then again, Steven, I can't tell you how many times I've been sitting here throughout the years on the broadcast desk where then we get a decision that's read out and I'm like, well, they saw something that I didn't.
Yes, not necessarily the way I had it. Yeah, I agree. It does happen.
So I'm never confident in what a decision is until it's actually read out. I've learned that through almost a decade of on the call now
Absolutely.
At this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, the judges are taking some time, though.
I mean, sometimes when there's a little bit of deliberation like this, we're looking at a split decision situation. And they want to make sure that they have those scores right so that who's ever reading them out also gets it correct. Because it's one thing when you get the decision wrong. It's another thing when they read it wrong and have to make a correction. Then you want to talk about having some pissed off people in the crowd. You want to talk about having some people who just went through the highest of high spike when their person, their family member, their loved one, their teammate, whoever, just got announced as the winner and got their hand raised. They have that jubilant exhilaration, and then it gets taken away. Oh, wait, we made a mistake. Oh, no, that's when you start having tables getting flipped and you have bottles get thrown, and we do not want that. One way or the other, though, hats off to each of these two pugilists.
Ladies and gentlemen, give these guys one more Judge Langmeyer scores the fight 37-35. Judge Short scores the bout 38-38. Judge Julio scores the bout 39-37
And there you go, a little bit of a bittersweet in with the decision there. You know, the crowd certainly not a fan of that decision there being a draw per the judges. The only consolation that I can offer there for you, Stephen, is that it was a very tightly contested bout. Again, we're talking about a difference of you know, do you reward the damage? Do you reward the volume?
Man,
Very interesting.
it was a very close match. I agree. Very interesting in just how they came to that.
I want to thank my team for being here for me. All the hard work and training and everything. I want to thank my sponsors for, you know, sponsoring me without you guys. It's not working possible. Yes, sir. I want to thank all my fans